thanks to the support as a channel member, David Chapman. Well, we ended up spending over £20 million in January, but it looks like it still isn't going to be enough to get us to the Premier League. But we do play Arsenal in the FA Cup today, so that should be fun. Hello and welcome to Club 2, Part 3 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have that big Arsenal FA Cup game, and we're also away against promotion chasing Luton in the Championship. It's quite a big day for us. Since you were last with me, we're already all the way into March. We're only playing the 5th round of the FA Cup because Arsenal have been busy little rascals, but we've played quite a lot of football. We've won more than we've lost, but it's not enough to get us into proper promotion form in the Championship. We're still only 7 points outside of the playoff spots, with a game in hand as well. So it's not impossible for us to get there, but realistically at this point, we're just going to have to win every game for the rest of the season and hope other teams around us slip up. We did do a few more transfers as well at the end of the transfer window. I think in the last episode we'd got as far as Enoch Aguier. So we signed 3 more players. Kane Kessler Hayden, who's natural in both fullback positions, came in from Exeter for 1.8 million, basically to be first backup on both sides. I might have got a little bit too carried away selling all my fullbacks. And then we signed a couple of centre-backs. Paulo Gozzi is a 27-year-old Nigerian international centre-back who came in from Sevilla for £2.7 million. It's a bit of a weird one. He's formerly of Juventus, ended up in France playing for Troy, who he left back in the summer for £2.7 million. Thankfully, didn't play for them, because if he had, we wouldn't have been able to bring him in, because he has been registered at 3 different clubs in 3 different countries this season. He played for Troy right at the start of the season after their relegation. So he had a full season for them in Ligue 1 last year. Played 1 game for them before going to Sevilla, never playing a game, and we've swooped in and just paid what they paid, and he's been able to come straight into our squad. And then we got this guy, Gabriel Marusic, who's a 26-year-old Croatian former under-21 international, who came in from Rijeka for 700,000. The problem we've got with all our centre-backs is they're all left-footed, which I didn't realise until they'd all arrived. So Gozzi's left-footed, Marusic is left-footed, Kitching is left-footed as well. The only one we've got who's not left-footed is Elaine, who would just say he's basically guaranteed to start with one of the other 3. We did we let anyone else disappear from the club? Yeah, Mathieu was the only other one who left. To balance those books, £325,000 went to Casapia, and it does mean that in March we've still got £4.5 million left, with a guaranteed budget of £7 million for next year. So I'm hoping when Next Gen Day comes around, we can spend that £4.5 million, because we don't want it'll disappear. If we let that sit there until the end of the season, they'll just give me 6.94 million at the end of the season, and that'll be my budget. I'll also get a 6.94 million budget next season if that's all spent. So it disappears if I don't spend it. So I'm going to find a way to spend it, but we're not going to worry about that right now, because right now it is Arsenal in the FA Cup. This is an Arsenal team who are top of the Premier League, quite well clear at the top of the Premier League as well, and presumably also running well in Europe, which is why this match kept getting delayed. In fact, I think they've just been knocked out of the Champions League by Manchester City in the round of 16. So they'll probably win the Premier League. Let's make sure they don't win the FA Cup. And we're going to have to do it without Joey Keating, who has captained us a couple of times now. A boy who'd never played a game for us before I arrived. He's got 16 leadership, though. This guy is a future Coventry captain. He is my boy, but he's been injured. So LOLLUJO is going to come in and play ahead of him today. And also both Kessler Hayden and Dane Scarlett are cup tied for this game. So, and Mason Clark is injured. So all in all, it's a bit of a rotated looking team, which is not the ideal situation to have when you go to face Arsenal. But we're going with Travers in goal, a back four of Scales, Gozzi, Elaine and Bree, Eccles at the base of the midfield, LOLLUJO and Rodoni ahead of him, Bonner on the left, Aguier on the right, and Okereke up front. And I suspect this is going to be an exercise in taking our medicine today. I just hope it doesn't knock the stuffing out of us to the extent that we then go and lose against Luton and just the whole season gets derailed from here. If we can not embarrass ourselves today, we might just be able to go and get a result out of that next league game and go on that winning run that we need to go on and kind of backdoor our way into the playoffs. So that's very much the plan. But obviously, we also are very much going to enjoy the money that we make from a big away game against a big Premier League team. I mean, it's a 60,000 sellout at the Emirates. This is going to be worth over £1 million in gate receipts to us, as it is the FA Cup, and we get 45% of the revenue, the match day gate receipts. So that's quite handy, because we've obviously spent a lot of money. We brought a lot of money in as well, but you saw in the finance screen before, we are millions of pounds in debt, which obviously we'll get a chunk of cash at the end of the season. TV money, prize money kind of things. Bonner has just turned Ben White inside out. That is lovely work from a lad who was playing for Lincoln this time last season, and he does brilliantly, plays it into the path of Okereke, and he's only got and put us 1-0 up at the Emirates. It's Arsenal 0, Coventry 1. Can you imagine, boys and girls? Arsenal are going to be reeling a little bit off the back of that thumping that they've just taken from Manchester City. We might be derailing Arsenal's title bid here, because in the space of a few days, everything could be falling apart from them. But we've had one shot on target. We've scored it. Fantastic work from Bonner. And now we're on the attack again. It's Rodoni, plays it across to Boateng, and unfortunately, he gives the ball away. And now Arsenal have got the chance to counter-attack right back at us. And yeah, we've not got enough men back to try and cope with this, have we? And I think we were giving away a penalty if they hadn't have scored. As it is, they'd scored. But Alain, with a very heavy challenge, it says he's missed his interception. It looked like he kicked the Arsenal player. But either way, it is the equaliser for Arsenal. I might have declared their demise a smidgen early. But, I mean, that's audacious the way they've done that. 1-1. We might have had our moment of fun for today. Although, I mean, we've scored corners before. Rodoni with the in-swinger. Oh, my word. I thought we'd got a proper contact on it. I mean, we did get a proper contact on it. It's gone behind for a goal kick. Unfortunately, it was just the wrong side of the post. But that shows that for as long as it's 1-1, we've always got a chance, because we can certainly do a corner. We're quite good at doing a corner. 1-1 at half-time. Arsenal making a few changes. I mean, they've brought Gabriel on, so they can probably do a corner now as well. Interesting to see Reece Nelson coming on, still knocking around at Arsenal in the far future. And Kai Havertz misses an absolute sitter for them. Goodness me. Remains 1-1. And now Scales plays it all the way back to Travers. And now Gozzi forward to Scales. Back with Travers again, and this time he wants no further part of it. Lump it up the pitch. And unfortunately, Arsenal just... I mean, they're quite good at doing stuff like that. I mean, Saliba, I think, is playing right back. So any fun that we might have had through Bonner having adventures down that Arsenal right-hand side are probably now going to be nipped in the bud by William Saliba playing there. I mean, look at that. It's a back three. Gabriel, Diamonde and Saliba. I don't think we're going to get much more joy out of that Arsenal defence today. But you never know, especially when we've got none of our regular starting front three. It would be Mason, Clark, Johnson and Scarlett if this was a league game and everyone was fully fit. So the fact that we've even scored one shows that we're quite a good team. They've brought Kieran Tierney on now. Another one similar to Reece Nelson. What's he doing still knocking around at Arsenal in 2028? This is madness. Nelson plays it infield to this Lombardi guy, and there is Kai Havertz. And he missed a sitter earlier. He wasn't going to miss another one. And I suspect that's probably that. We'll go attacking. It's the FA Cup. We've got to try. But I suspect us going attacking is just going to open the door for Arsenal to score a couple more. Right, Johnson's coming on. I'm not going to take off Travers. I'm going to take off Bree. Kitchen can come on for him. And we don't have anyone who can go across to right back. This is why it's a problem with Kessler Hayden being cup-tied, because he would be the guy who'd come on here normally. I guess my only right footer in Alain is going to have to go over to right back. I mean, he can't really play there. We'll have to do similar to what Arsenal are doing. We'll go inverted fullback. Scales can play inverted wing-back. So let's make Scales an inverted wing-back. And Elaine can be an inverted fullback. And they can all blooming like it. And then we're going to take off Eccles as well. Mark Leonard is going to come on for him. And I think we've weakened this team quite a lot with what we've done there. So it'll be fine. Right, Bree, last touch for him because he's about to be taken off. And I mean, that's going to go down in history as the reason why he's just given the ball away there, which is presumably going to lead to Arsenal's third goal. Nelson has gone past whoever that is at right back with ease. Who is that who's come over to cover at right back? Did Bree make it all the way back? He's done very well if he did. I think that was Bree making it all the way back there. Elaine's having a terrible game. And now we're asking him to play in a position he's never played before. Scales is shattered. And we're asking him to play in a position we've never asked him to play before. And we're going to offer some encouragement, but we're setting these boys up for failure now. But we've done very well. Remember, this is a team that is 7 points clear at the top of the Premier League. We were supposed to come here and get an absolute spanking. We're going to get Keating on because he deserves to play a role in today's game because he's been so good for us on this run. And we are also going to bring on Marusic, who we are training to play as a left back, and he can be an inverted wing back as well. So why on earth not? Let's go very attacking. Let's make him attacking. And you never know, Travers might come up and score an equaliser for us. Wouldn't that be a thing? I mean, it doesn't really count for very much in these days of no replays because it would just send the game to extra time and Arsenal would beat us then. But it would be a fun moment if it happened. Right, Marusic gives it to LOLLUJO and Bonner gives the ball away. Bonner has done his best today, but he is playing about 3 levels above where he should be playing. And we've now given away that penalty in the 91st minute. It's LOLLUJO, who's not really used to playing at the base of the midfield. He's also homesick, and we've promised we'll sell him in the summer. So he's probably on his way out of the club anyway, largely because of the emergence of Keating in midfield. Can we have a Travers save and then a Travers equaliser? That would be a lovely combination of things. Right, we've had the save. There's 5 minutes. Get up the other end and score a goal now. It's an Arsenal corner, which is not ideal. We'd like a corner of our own. But they're going to hit an in-swinger for Unwaneri. And, well, Travers comes out, catches it, gets it up the other end. We win a corner. Travers scores it. We've got like 3 minutes to make that thing of beauty play out. Godsey heads it clear. Bonner's chasing it out, couldn't get there, and it's now going to be an Arsenal throw. We've got about 2.5 minutes to get the ball up the other end for a corner of our own. We don't want to score from open play. We want Travers, who's man of the match. We want Travers to score the equaliser because it would just be phenomenal if that's how it works out. But it is Arsenal in possession again. And I suspect we're not going to be getting a corner, are we? You know what? We've done very well there. There's no shame in getting knocked out in that manner. And if we check our inbox, we should have a big steaming pile of cash waiting for us. Does it not tell us about gate receipts? I mean, it should tell us about a massive amount of money we've just made. Yeah, we've made 1.6 million in gate receipts this month compared to 600,000 last month. And we're only halfway through. So there's your 1 million, 1.1 million or so from the Arsenal game. Hopefully that's not knocked too much out of us and we can go and get a result against Luton. Because if we've got any hope at all of getting promoted, we need to go and win that game. Right, a few changes for the Luton game. Then Keating comes back in midfield after being out for a little while with an injury. Scarlett and Aguier both can't get my words out. Scarlett coming back in after he was cup-tied and had a little bit of a knock of his own. Aguier not fully match fit, but will start. Johnson comes back in. And there we go. I got all my words out in the end. It was just a battle. Right, Luton. Let's beat them. They're second in the league. So they're not a team we're expecting to catch. They're probably looking very good for automatic promotion. But we are looking at the likes of Sunderland, Burnley, Norwich as teams that we're looking to catch. In fact, Luton and Leeds are well clear. They're as good as promoted already. A win here today for Luton, and they're pretty much there over the finish line with just 6 games to play for them. They'll be, 14 points clear of Hull, which that's quite a significant difference. So we're trying to throw a spanner in the works today. Ultimately, it doesn't mean anything to Luton if they lose today. They're not going to catch Leeds. They're not going to get caught by anyone else. They should just let us win because I'm a nice guy and I would like to win. And it would put us right up there in the mix with 7 games to go because we've obviously got a game in hand. And it just keeps things very interesting. If I know Football Manager like I think I know Football Manager, it's going to want things to stay interesting going into that run-in. We've done absolutely nothing in that first 45 minutes, not even a highlight. And both Aguier and Scarlett are going to have to come off around the 70-minute mark. Not that either of them have done anything yet anyway. Eccles with the throw finds Rodoni. This is our first highlight of the match. Eccles with a big, deep cross looking for Bree. It falls to Keating! And he can't keep his shot down. That would have been the hero-making moment, the captain-making moment. if he'd have scored the goal that fired us on a 7-match winning streak that got us into the playoffs. We just make him captain at that point before his 21st birthday and accept that he's going to play for England one day. Right, we've got a lot of tired legs, so it's not just the two that needed to come off. There's going to be a few changes here. So he needs to come off and he needs to come off. We'll swap those two over. But then we're also going to have to take him off. So Colwell's coming on. Redoni needs to come off. So LOLLUJO is going to come on for him. And then both Scales and Bree are tired. So Kessler Hayden can come on as well. And that is 5 changes all in one go. Scales is still shattered, but still on the pitch. It's not ideal after that busy midweek game we had against Arsenal. We've got some tired legs starting to emerge in the squad, which is not ideal. Right, Colwell on the right-hand side. He's a guy we'd been trying to get rid of, but as we've thinned the herd a little bit and he's stayed around, has started to play a little bit more football. LOLLUJO plays it into Bonner. Bonner, fresh off of his assist against Arsenal, has now scored a goal against Luton, and he is becoming a very important player for us. Still only 20 years old himself, he is emerging as a bit of a star. It's Luton 0, Coventry 1. If it ends like this, the next episode's going to be very interesting because we have a chance to backdoor Kev our way into the playoffs. I don't need to see any more potential offside highlights. Get rid of all that. Just show me what this does to the league table. 61 points. We'd be 5 points behind Burnley in 6th place with a game in hand over them. And I suspect we play a few of these teams before the season is done as well. I know we play Cardiff, but we don't have a game in hand over them. But we are giving ourselves a chance if we can hold on to this 1-goal lead here. But Keating, of all people, has given the ball away in midfield. Luton have got about 90 seconds to grab an equaliser. It means nothing to them, but it'll ruin our day. And it's back with their keeper, who's miles out of his area. If we could win the ball back here and have a bit of a shot. I mean, we didn't, and now they've got in behind our very tired left-back Scales, who's trying to chase back, can't get there, and there is the equaliser, a 92nd minute equaliser that, like I say, does absolutely nothing for Luton. They were going to finish second if they didn't score. They'll still finish second even if they score again, but it makes it an awful lot harder for us to get into those playoffs with 7 games to go. Thanks, Football Manager. That was super. Really glad that happened. Arsenal now playing another FA Cup game. They've thrashed Huddersfield. I mean, they are of League One. But yeah, Arsenal meaning business. I mean, to be fair, Odegaard and Saka didn't play against me, so they've put the first team out against them. They put the reserves out against us, I think. Right, we will... I guess we'll see how the rest of the season goes. I suspect we'll be back for the last couple of games of the season. Hopefully, still in with a chance of getting into the playoffs. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.